The internet didn't wake up to just another headline. It woke up to a storm that no one could scroll past. For months, Atlanta had whispered about the toxic love story between Kelsey Frost, daughter of Kirk Frost, and stepdaughter of Rasheeda, and her boyfriend, rapper T. Hood. The whispers were dark, arguments spilling into public, drugs fueling chaos, and one night that ended with 7 bullets, 5 tearing through his back. Fans speculated, families threw blame, but without proof. It was just noise. Until today, because today, proof hit harder than any rumor. Raw, shaky, violent videos dropped online like bombs. One showed Kelsey asleep in bed when T. Hood stormed in and began beating her without warning. Another caught him ripping cameras off walls, slamming doors, pacing like a man possessed. The sound of fists on flesh silenced everything else. These weren't grainy shadows. They were brutal, undeniable. Within minutes, the clips spread across every blog and timeline. This wasn't gossip anymore. It was evidence. And evidence changes everything. The blogs wasted no time. Hollywood Unlocked, The Shade Room, and dozens of smaller pages looped the clips nonstop, adding captions like, "Victim or set up," and "Kelsey speaks through receipts." Comment sections became war zones. Some cried that the footage proved Kelsey was never a manipulator. She was a victim trapped in violence. Others spat that this was staged. Old clips dropped to distract from the Frost family's role. On Twitter, strangers fought like they'd lived in these houses themselves. Memes mixed with outrage. And for the first time, Kelsey wasn't just the accused. She was bruised. But nothing in this story stays simple for long. Hours later, T. Hood's sister came online with words sharp enough to slice through the internet noise. "Don't show me coats in 98 degrees. Don't show me old clips. Show me August 8th, 7 p.m. Show me the driveway where my brother was shot 7 times, 5 in his back." Her point was brutal. Don't distract with shaky videos from the past. Don't replace missing DVR footage with selective evidence. Neighbors had sworn the Frost property was covered in cameras, driveway, hallways, inside the home. But when detectives arrived, the system was gone. Police reports said, no footage available. Suddenly, the very clips that painted Kelsey as a survivor were twisted into evidence of manipulation. If abuse was real, why wasn't the police ever called? Why were these videos appearing only after the autopsy confirmed bullets in his back? Then came the texts that shook the internet harder than the videos. In one, Kelsey begged T. Hood's mother, "Your son putting his hands on me, can you send someone to pick up his belongings?" The reply? A flat, "Okay, thanks." No concern, no outrage, just dismissal. That single line flipped the conversation. People asked, did they know all along? Were they enabling him? Was Kelsey told to call the family instead of 911 to keep police away? If so, then silence wasn't hers alone. It was a system. The more the clips replayed, the more the story bent out of shape. Some fans screamed that Kelsey had proven she was a survivor. Others swore the Frosts were orchestrating a cover-up. But facts hung heavy. T. Hood was dead. 7 bullets. 5 in the back. The autopsy didn't lie. But the motive? The truth? That was sinking deeper into shadows, because evidence cuts both ways. Yes, the videos showed abuse. But why were they dropped now, weeks later? Why weren't they used the night the story first broke? Why let her name drag through rumors if proof sat in a phone the whole time? Contradictions stacked higher. Another screenshot showed Kelsey thanking T. Hood's mother after reporting abuse. "Thanks again for everything." To some, it looked like brainwashing. A victim forced to thank people who failed her. To others, it looked like complicity. The hashtag swung like a pendulum. Justice for Kelsey, then justice for Hood, and back again. By nightfall, this wasn't about 2 young lovers anymore. It was about 2 families, the Frosts and the Hoods, battling for the public's belief. One side screaming bruises, the other screaming bullet wounds. One side calling it survival, the other calling it murder. The public choked on questions. If the Frosts had this footage, what else were they hiding? If the Hoods knew about the violence, why didn't they protect her? Why did police even consider calling it self-defense when the shots were in his back? Every so-called answer only opened another hole. For weeks, the story was painted as a toxic love gone wrong. But now it looked like war. And if the abuse videos shook the internet, the Hood family's response was about to set the entire city on fire. The debate didn't fade. It exploded. Some shouted that the Frosts were protecting Kai from justice. Others defended the Frosts, pointing at the bruises and text messages as proof that Kelsey was trapped in a cycle of violence. In the middle of it all, Kirk Frost became the silent villain. T. Hood's baby mama claimed Kirk once admitted he had washed his hands of the situation because he knew Kelsey wouldn't leave. To the public, that sounded like abandonment. To the Frost family, it sounded like detachment. Either way, it was damning. A father acknowledging danger yet refusing to act. Online, conspiracy theories caught fire. Fans whispered that Rasheeda's love and hip-hop checks were paying off police to keep Kai untouched. Others accused blogs of being paid to push the abuse victim story, flipping the narrative to make T. Hood the monster. Hashtags like paid receipts and cover-up in Atlanta trended until they couldn't be ignored. But beneath all the noise, one truth couldn't be moved. On August 8th, T. Hood was walking away, and he was shot 7 times. 5 bullets tore through his back. Abuse videos couldn't erase that. Texts couldn't excuse that. The outcome was the same. He never walked away alive. The story shifted from scandal to contradiction. The Frosts held on to abuse videos. The Hoods demanded the missing DVR from that night. Both families claimed they wanted justice, but both were hiding their own pieces of the puzzle. By the second night, Atlanta wasn't whispering. It was screaming. Blogs, YouTubers, gossip pages, all turned the tragedy into a battleground. To some, Kelsey Frost was a battered woman whose cries had been ignored. To others, she was a manipulator who provoked the fight until her brothers fired the shots. Yet above all the arguments, one fact loomed. T. Hood was dead, and the receipts kept coming. The Hoods pointed to Kelsey's chilling text. "I want to unalive some chas maitser for real." They called it premeditation. Kelsey's side pointed back to clips of her bruised, humiliated, beaten in her own home. Friends jumped in. The baby mama admitted she'd seen the changes when Vanessa, the mistress, introduced T. Hood to new drugs. Kelsey's best friend posted messages showing bruises and silence, proof that abuse was real. But the Hoods fought back, saying she broke his Ash's necklace, taunted him, and lit the spark that ended in bullets. The truth was buried under bias. Neighbors swore the Frost property had cameras everywhere. But when detectives arrived, the DVR was ripped out and gone. Official reports said no footage available. Anonymous sources claimed officers had ties to VH1 staff and even to Kirk, Frost himself. Suddenly, it wasn't just a messy case. It was corruption. That's when the conspiracy went nationwide. The Hood family went public, claiming the Frosts weren't protecting Kelsey. They were protecting Kai, protecting their name, protecting their empire. Words like cover-up, payoff. Atlanta politics, flooded comment sections. Fans demanded to know, how much did Rasheeda pay y'all for this post? But the Hoods weren't spared either. People asked, if they knew of the violence, why didn't they protect Kelsey? Why did his own mother dismiss her plea with a cold, okay, thanks? Their indifference was as damning as the Frost's silence. The blame cycle spun endlessly. Meanwhile, more dirt on Vanessa surfaced. She wasn't just the mistress blamed for drugs. Rumors swirled she had been involved with Kelsey too, adding jealousy and chaos. Photos of her at the vigil went viral. Cigarette in hand, casual clothes, no shirt with his face, no visible grief. Memes called her the side chick who sparked it all. To some, she was another victim. To others, the snake in the grass. And through it all, Kai Frost's name grew louder. The autopsy confirmed 7 bullets, 5 in the back. His name was in the incident report. Yet no arrest, no questioning, not even a public statement. That silence screamed louder than anything else. The Hoods called it injustice. The Frosts stayed silent. The public demanded answers. And whispers of payoffs turned into headlines. By now, the story wasn't just Atlanta gossip. National blogs picked it up. Podcasters, YouTubers, commentators far outside the culture dissected every angle. Some called T. Hood a troubled talent, gone too soon. Others painted him as an abuser destroyed by his own demons. Some called Kelsey a survivor. Others branded her a mastermind. But the truth stayed missing. The one thing that mattered, the missing DVR from August 8th, never surfaced. Without it, the case was nothing but a war of half-truths. By the third week, the legal system finally stirred. Rumors of a grand jury leaked. Subpoenas were whispered about. The Hood family demanded charges. The Frosts prepared defenses, fan-made. Courtroom sketches went viral, imagining the families face-to-face under oath. Hashtags split once more. Chalk justice for Hood versus protect Kelsey. And still, neither family blinked. The Hoods demanded Kelsey's arrest. The Frosts declared her a survivor. Both claimed they had more receipts. Both swore the other side hadn't seen the full truth. Both promised to drop it when the moment was right. The public braced for the next explosion. Would it be the missing DVR? A new set of texts? A leak from inside the courtroom? Nobody knew, but one thing was undeniable. This wasn't just a love gone bad. It wasn't just a rapper gone too soon. It was silence, betrayal, power, and survival, with the Frost Empire on one side and the grieving Hood family on the other. Atlanta was split straight down the middle, one side waving bruises, the other pointing at bullet wounds. Blogs could speculate, families could scream, but the truth was sitting somewhere in silence, on a missing DVR, a hidden file, a camera that saw it all but never spoke. And when that footage finally comes to light, it won't just answer questions. It will burn the city down. One family will be vindicated, the other destroyed. In this war, there are no winners, only survivors. So the question isn't if the truth will surface. The question is who will survive it.